What's going on, Star Wars fans? What's going on, Nick? How are you, buddy?
I'm good. How's it going
Good,
over there?
good, good. I'm glad we're on. We got one more episode left of Skeleton Crew, man. It's crazy. Last episode was insane.
Yeah. Chewy's loving it.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, took a little bit of a turn in a way, but you kind of called it. So congratulations.
Yeah. John Nawood is an evil MFer.
Yeah, he sucks. I don't think he's got it in him though.
I don't think he'll kill the kids. I don't think he's going to be a good guy. I don't think he's going to turn. I think he's just a bad guy. I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
By the end. So I think this is going to be a big cliffhanger, maybe even to the Mandoverse, maybe the Mando movie. I think it will lead into that. There was some discussion about some of the characters in Skeleton Crew that will be in the Grogu Mando movie.
Who is that?
Some of the kids. They're not being specific about anything. So, hey, if you guys are on here on our live chat today about Skeleton Crew, episode 8 comes out tomorrow. Please throw some comments in. Let us know where you're at. Let us know how everything's sounding. I got some new equipment, stuff going on. So,
Look at that.
Got some fun things. We're working out the kinks, but we're going to be talking about Skeleton Crew today, episode 8. There's a couple other fun things that Star Wars they really haven't announced it, but there's rumors, and there's pretty good rumors that this stuff is going to go on. So excited to talk about those things today. So jump on here with Nick and I and let us know what you think. Hopefully you can hear us okay, and we're going to go ahead and jump right in. But yeah, I think John Nawood, I don't think he's going to kill the kids. I don't know if he's going to pretend that he's a Jedi after he threatened the kids with the lightsaber. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna do anything. I could see in like pure Star Wars fashion, if he were able to get the frigate down to the planet, I could see him out of his own greed, maybe indirectly helping the kids and the families and all that by preventing the pirates from getting after it. But that's just me like speculating. We've been speculating for like weeks and we've been mostly wrong. So, which is how it goes. But I don't care to see him get redeemed in any way. I'm cool with it. I think it's good for the story and for the character to just be bad, just to be a bad guy. I think there's enough redemption in Star Wars. I think we're due for just a guy who's just not good. He's not like, I don't know if he's evil. He's just very greedy. And, how couldn't you be when you're in his position and looking at all that once you get in there? But I don't know how they would manage it either. Like how he would get off with that. They said there's like 1,100 vaults. I think it was 1,139 vaults.
Right. And the significance to that, right?
Yeah, the 1138 THX. Yeah. For those who don't know, there's a movie George Lucas did, like an art film called THX 1138, and or maybe it was just THX, but 1138 had some significance, but a little nod to that. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think? I don't think he's going to carve anybody up, or maybe he's just going to threaten it. Maybe it turns out he's not as much of a badass dude as he thinks or is said to be. Maybe that's why Brutus thought he sucked. I don't know. But I don't think he has it in him to do it.
No, I don't. I think he wants the money. I think he's going to portray himself as a Jedi. He's already threatened the kid, so he can try to get the money here.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of speculation about the pirates obviously coming in. He's going to have to call them in, and there's speculation of different things in reference to who else can come and save At from the pirates. there's talk, is Thrawn going to be coming in here, and just because he's so tactical, has he figured out when they sent that thing up into the air, did it just go to the Onyx Cinder, or did it go out to other people? So is he going to come in, and is that how he starts his reign with those trillions or billions of dollars in credits? There's talk, is Grogu and Mando going to come and save? Even though they're on Navarro, Mandalore is not that far from At-Aten. I don't think the kids and their parents are going to do anything against these pirates.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there has to be something, maybe it's Hera, that comes in with the fleet or something like that. But I think it's going to end with a big cliffhanger. There's a lot of stuff out with Jude Law where he talks about the ending of it, and that we're going to be sort of not mad but wanting more and a little upset. So, but he said it's a grand Star Wars ending. So I think it's going to be really cool.
Yeah, I wonder, I would think for what we get later, I would think it'd be more likely that At-Aten doesn't get found in general. Just because, like, at this point, if I can get my canon brain in here, my nerdy side into the live, at this point, First Order's cranking, producing stuff already. It's not like they need the money. But they're just like they're totally out of the way. So I don't know. Hey, Jacob, by the way, Jacob said a comment that chaotic neutral. That's exactly what Jod is. He's a chaotic neutral. He's not evil. And he ain't good. No, I don't know who would come in and swoop in. I don't know if they even need it though, because I don't know if he's going to let him in.
I think he'll let the pirates in.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think he'd rather load up the Onyx Cinder and blow that popsicle sand.
That's true.
If you were him, how to get in there.
You got the amount.
You got the only ship. Yeah, you got the only ship that can go in there. You can just come back. Pretend you're a Jedi. Say the kids are nuts. I don't know, but. Yeah. I laid so many things out of people who would come into this show, and none of it's happened. So I think I'm going to take a break from saying who's going to swoop in. But I don't know. I think I was assuming we'd get some kind of backstory on him, and now I don't think we're gonna. I think we're too far.
I think we will. I think we will tomorrow. I think we'll get a little bit more. There's I forget what the character's name, but there's another character with the last name of Nawood. It's a female. I don't know if it's his mother or sister. Okay. It's only it's in the credits, but it's only on Google. They don't show it anywhere else. I was watching Mike, a guy who loves Star Wars, his podcast. If you guys haven't seen that, it's phenomenal. We're hoping to get him on here as a guest sometime soon and pick his brain, and talk to him. But he was talking about that. So it's definitely going to be interesting. There's so many different things that can happen. I do think that they're going to sort of move this into the Mando and Grogu movie. I think that something's going to end up here at the end with this heading in. I think we're going to have almost like an Empire Strikes Back hanger, I think.
Okay. I can see that, especially if the game plan is to merge all these shows that are in the same timeline that they've teed up.
Yeah.
I remember I was going to say earlier about people coming in. I felt like it was odd that to me, it felt like they were teeing up X-Wings, because they the kids made a point to talk about it in the 2 episodes ago, or maybe it was the last episode, 2 episodes ago. They were talking about remember when Kim said like asked for her friends, and Jod said they were bad guys. They called them X-Wings, but I think they're the good guys.
Yeah.
I felt like it was kind of random, and I'm wondering if that's instead of like someone we know, like maybe, you know, good guys show up. Because I thought for sure, for example, when the X-Wings were there, that we were going to get that guy who's the X-Wing pilot in all of the Mandalorian. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, Tico or yeah, I forget his name right.
Yeah, I thought he was going to pop out. I was like, oh, cool cameo. But I think it could be as simple as that. All that being said, I think like this is all leading to some kind of merge, Survivor style. Like all the shows kind of merge into the Mandalorian Grogu movie or timeline. Ahsoka might be its own thing, but it would make sense that this would tee that up, especially with something as significant as all that freaking money, man. Because in true George Lucas style, like you got to remember how any of this happens with like money and politics and all that kind of stuff.
Well, and to that point, I think that like I was talking about, if Thrawn gets a hold of this, he can start his heir to the Empire, which also goes into the First Order. I mean, to have all those credits, he can start to build. What's the name of that planet killer?
Starkiller Base.
Yeah, Starkiller Base. I mean, he can take.
I will say that thing's being built right now.
Oh, you think it's already being built?
Yeah, I think there was like a comic that like it had been being built for like 50 years by the time they used it.
Okay.
Like during the Empire.
Oh, okay.
Like because that's Ilum from the Clone War, or from, is it in Rebels or is it from Fallen Order? It's a planet called Ilum that they just turned into Starkiller Base.
Okay.
And he's been on it. Anyway, we can do that some other time. But he's been Palpatine's been harvesting big ass kyber crystals and putting them in Exegol for like years. It's cool. I'll send it to you. It's pretty cool.
Okay.
It's like
I'd definitely like to read up on it, because I think that could be something, maybe he doesn't use it for Starkiller Base, but I think Thrawn could use all those credits to start funding, whatever he's doing next.
He could, even if it's as simple as being like, hey, here's all the money in the world to like 1,000 planets that want to secretly join us, and that helps. I think I lost you, Ron. I think the audio's coming through the live spot.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just what you were talking about with Ahsoka. I think there was some cool news that popped up, and I think this is amazing, because I think this could be where we go to the Mortis gods.
Yeah.
Because in the Clone Wars, first of all, Hayden and Ewan, go with Ahsoka, and obviously she's younger. So now you have, Ariana Greenblatt coming back again. So I think that would be, all of a sudden we have them back again in the same area.
Yeah.
So that could be pretty cool.
Yeah. I think that'd be a good way to, like, for anyone that didn't watch it in the Clone Wars, to be able to explain what the hell all that stuff is. Because if you were just watching Ahsoka and never watched what Mortis was, the ending with Baylan wouldn't matter at all. You just see a cool statue and know that he's looking for something.
Right.
It'd be interesting if that was like, even if it's just a little tiny clip that shows that it's something we've been to before, that would help viewers who may not be well versed in it, and would maybe push them to go back and watch it.
Yeah. And I think they'll do a good job, because again, if you didn't know that in Ahsoka, when you see Baylan standing there, at the end, they're like, okay, what is that? What's everybody talking about? Again, on Baylan, we have, you even showed me this. we have a new character, for unfortunately Ray passed away. And so I think they did a good job. I think he has some features. Obviously, they're going to gray him up, but I think I think he could be a good spot here. He did great in Game of Thrones. He's in a bunch of other ones. I think he's in is it the newest Gladiator 2?
I didn't see it yet. Sorry.
Yeah, I think he had a part in that too. I'm not positive, but he's been in a bunch. But I think he did a great job in Game of Thrones.
He was one of my favorite Game of Thrones characters, and I think was a fan favorite as well.
Yeah,
as the Hound.
yeah.
But he also, not that this, I'm not trying to like downplay his acting skills, but he's got the physical part down too. He's big, like Ray Stevenson was. He's got that. It's like part of Balin's things. He's like this big, knightly, heavy sword guy, and so I think a lot of Star Wars fans put sometimes a little too much into like the physical representation of a character, and I think this nails it. And obviously, he's a very talented actor as well. I hope this is true, because obviously this is just like the same as the other thing. It's like reported, but it's been reported. I mean, I've seen it. I saw it like 100 times the last 2 days. So usually, if it's not true, it gets shot down by now. But
no, I definitely think it's true. I think it's been, like you said, I've seen it on a whole bunch of different things. I mean, Disney hasn't confirmed yet, I don't think. Just like the other stuff with Hayden and Ewan and Ariana. But I think this is a pretty good. I think we're going to get this for sure. This cast member here that's going to take over for Ray. I think they're and like you said, I think he has the stature for it. He has the build for it. I think it'll be good. I'm not sure what Ray's stature was, but I mean, I think he was a pretty big dude.
Yeah,
and and the Hound obviously is a big boy.
Yeah, and I think it'd be cool. Like Ray Stevenson was so good in it, was such a great job. It really, obviously, not many words for how much it sucks that he's gone, but he was so good in it that it got everybody invested into what that character's story is going to be.
Right.
And which I think, I'm sure in some ways like scary when you're recasting, but on the other side of it, I can see that being pretty empowering. Like people want to know the story and are invested in the character. And I think he's going to kill it. I think it's going to be great. I don't know how that works with Mortis. That's the more Star Wars side of this. So I think that's more of a brainstormer than anything, because I don't really think there was ever a real answer as to what Mortis is. I think it was like purposefully left open-ended and interpretation worthy, because everyone on it except the old man died. So,
right.
And here's my thing with Mortis. I'm going to go into this for about a minute. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
My thing with Mortis is like I've seen a lot of stuff about how like Anakin could still be the thing, and like Ahsoka could be one side and someone else could be the other. But I feel like kind of the whole point of the Mortis arc is that despite having the power of like gods, they're dying. Like the
right.
father is dying and needs Anakin to replace him. And Anakin can't go back with them, needs him to replace him. He's the only one who can do it. Anakin's dead. Sorry to say it to everybody. His Force Ghost is immortal. It's a beautiful thing. He's immortal like all of our other friends. And that's great, but he's freaking dead. So this whole thing where like Anakin could be a part of it, I don't think that was the point. I think Ahsoka could be a part of it. I think Baylan could be a part of it. I think if we get some more info on Shin and what she's actually feeling, she could be a part of it. Outside of that, like, I love Sabine. That's another thing to get into, but I think she has more of a story in the real world than to do the Mortis thing. So yeah, I don't know like what Baylan's trying to access, because it's not like he could go to Mortis and come back and retain his abilities that he gets from Mortis or whatever it is. And I don't think he has enough of a good streak to do what the father's doing either.
No, but if he brings, is it Abeloth?
Yeah.
If he's there doing something like that, I don't think. I mean, if all this is true and these three are going to come back in Ahsoka season 2, I think that we're just going to get a little brief, maybe an episode or two on that. If Baylan finds Abeloth or whatever, just to start to fill people in on that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll go back to trying to, get back to the regular galaxy and find Thrawn and stuff like that. But I think they'll somehow, you have to bring these three back into Mortis or in the Mortis gods if we're going to have some sort of explanation, because those were the three that were there.
That's true, because we could be talking Mortis all day long. Maybe he doesn't even end up with Mortis. He ends up to something like an Abeloth, Maybe the Mortis gods are just a symbol of pointing, go here to find this thing. It has nothing to do with actually getting the Mortis or something like that. Maybe that's the misdirect.
Right. And maybe if Abeloth is powerful enough to get them back to the other universe. Because again, we've still got to figure out how they're going to get back to Thrawn and Hera and Ezra and Chopper and stuff.
I've always wondered why, like since season 2, I've wondered why Dathomir for Thrawn, as like smart as he is and like in the novels and stuff, he seems honorable to his allies, but like other than giving the witches a ride and bringing their stuff there, like what use does he have for Dathomir other than no one's looking there and no one cares about it or no one even dares to go there? So that could be interesting. Like that would be a perfect environment for an Abeloth type of thing. Freaking dark side planet,
Right.
But that's my question, is like why there? Is it because it's easy to hide? I don't think he's too emotionally attached to the witches of Dathomir at all. He lets them die for him constantly. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, and I think obviously I think they powered the stormtroopers, obviously, that he has under his control at this
Once
point.
He's back, he doesn't need them.
True.
Yeah,
I think, and hopefully that'll be explained, as we go on.
Were the stormtroopers, before they got greened up and like became zombies, were they already being powered by the witches?
I don't think so. I think I think they died. I'm not positive, but I think they died and they brought them back to life, sort of like.
So those were all like normal people. Ahsoka, Ezra, and Sabine killed them all, and then zombies. That's what I thought it was.
The ones yes, but I also think that the ones that he has on the ship that he goes back with are also dead.
Oh yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah,
so like
they killed a bunch of them when they were fighting, but then and then they came back to life. But I also think the ones with the red tape and what's
Enoch?
Yeah, I think they're powered by the witches.
Yeah. Okay. I could see that being a need, and then maybe all those freaking coffins they're bringing in are an advantage to him in the future. I assume they look like coffins.
Yeah. But it's either that or I guess it would have to be, unless it's more witches. But I would guess that it's more stormtroopers to come back to Dathomir so that they can raise them from the dead.
I would think it'd be something cooler than stormtroopers.
Yeah.
In them. But
but unfortunately we got a year and a half to wait.
We haven't even filmed it.
Yeah. So
anyway, it's really cool that Hayden and Ewan and Ariana
Greenblatt are going to be back in there. Yeah,
I'm all for it. I'm not like, sometimes when there's like cameos and fan service, sometimes I go, okay, you got me. But now I'm like, cool, give it to me. let me see it.
Well, and I think, going back to our main topic here with with Skeleton Crew, that's why I think that I think we're gonna get a pretty cool ending here. I think it's gonna be a cliffhanger, but I think somebody's gonna have to come along, whether it's a Thrawn or a Mando and Grogu or a Hera or something like that, we get to see come up as a cameo like we did with Luke, and Mando. And as they bring, Thrawn in with Ahsoka, and I think we're definitely going to see something with that. So, if anybody's still on here, give us your thoughts about Skeleton Crew and what you think episode 8 is going to be. At this point, we have one more episode tomorrow night. I think it's going to be. I'm excited. I gave last week, I would say a 9 out of 10. Last week with everything that went on, it turned very dark very quickly, which was cool. And like we talked about, John Nowod is just an asshole at this point, especially, SM30. Brutus was like, oh, okay, big deal. But when he chopped off SM33's head, I was like, hey, I sort of like that.
I thought he was going to stomp the rat too.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. Like you said, I would rate the last one pretty high. I'm just going to say at one time, the format I still wish was different, because there were a couple episodes along the way where I was like, man, it seemed short. It seemed short for where we're going. And, if there were 12 episodes, I wouldn't feel that way. But
they got a lot to answer the night tomorrow night.
Yeah, I think it sets it up for like the need for a big last episode, which I'm sure is by design. But I'll also say, because she'll probably be on here soon, Madeline's loving it. I think that's a testament to like what Skeleton Crew is. Like, Derek was saying this on Christmas, like it's just fun. Like there's no stress other than like stress of the story maybe, but like you're just eager to watch it because it's fun. And you're truly curious about what it is. There's no like, you and I are like taking other shows and like making connections, but that's because that's what we do. But like anyone can come watch us and be genuinely curious as a Star Wars fan, be like, this is a cool story. And I think it's hitting on that big time.
Yeah, and you don't have the Skywalkers that you're worried about, or some of these bigger main characters, because we really don't know much of the backstory of. I mean, what you see is what you get on here. So again, if you're just coming into this as, oh, I'm just going to check this show out, I'm not a Star Wars fan, it's pretty cool.
It's one of the first shows in a while where I felt like across the board, Star Wars fans have been like, I don't have an answer now, but I'm sure the show will answer it.
Yeah.
Whereas in the past, like week to week, it'd be like, how do I finesse like the best take on the internet possible about what's going to happen based on who these characters are and all these things. It's like, well, we don't, like you said, I don't have any backstory on any of these characters.
Right.
Like, I'm sure my questions will get answered, and the way the show's moving, they will. So it's nice. I'm loving it.
Yeah. No, Jacob, I think you're right. I think that the execution was one of the coldest in the Star Wars project. Again, in Acolyte, we saw some of those lightsaber battles where, Jackie and got killed and stuff. But yeah, for him just to walk up, pick up the gun, and just take out Brutus like that, and then chop off the head of SM33, it was like, holy shit.
And to your point about when you were saying it was going to get dark. There's a dark part of that too, where like that's the kid's fault. The kids scooped him up and trapped him there, and Jod just shot him in the head.
Yeah,
like that's depending on your from a certain point of view. That's pretty dark, and it's kind of what Derek was saying. It'll be dark in like indirect ways, like nothing's gonna happen to the kids or nothing like necessarily overt. But that was pretty cold. You're right, Jacob.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be a good season ender. But again, I think it's going to leave us wanting more, in reference to a I don't think we'll get a season 2 of this. As good as it is,
Yeah.
these kids are going to be too old to do a season 2. I mean, they're going to be 3 to 5 years older at least for them to start filming and get something done. So I mean, it's not going to go from this point right to here. It would have to go from this point all the way over here.
Yeah. I think if we're talking like the characters in the story, I think a season 2 would only be possible if like the good guys come in. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If the good guys come in and they're like, we're gonna keep this place a secret, nobody knows, all the pirates are gone, whatever. Hey kids, do you want to come like learn about your galaxy? Then I could see, them being a part of the rest of it. Otherwise, I am totally cool with it being like a self-contained show.
Oh yeah.
We don't get those very often.
No, and there's still two more scenes that we need to see from the trailers, and this isn't one of them. I don't have them this afternoon, unfortunately, but one, it looks like they're possibly in what's the leader's name on at Atten, the supervisor.
Supervisor. They put out. I've seen a picture of the actor who's the supervisor.
Yeah, but I think they're just using his voice. I think it's going to be automated. I think it's going to be some sort of droid or
like
program
style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be that guy that I saw him too. But I don't think it's going to be him as the supervisor. I think that's going to be something that's been programmed in. And then there's another scene of Winn, KB, and Winn's dad on the speeder bikes.
Oh,
we haven't seen that yet either.
Yeah, I guess I never saw that either. Are we in agreement that Atten and all those planets are just kind of a sham?
No, I was watching a thing today that the creators of Skeleton Crew got the okay to bring that into the Star Wars universe.
What?
So
I wasn't saying, yeah. Huh? I mean, like in there, like the supervisor is not a real person. Like,
oh yeah.
The operations of like what they think they're working toward. That's none of it's real to them. Like it's real to them. None of it's matters anymore.
Right, because I think those droids they got a big huge camera right on their freaking face. So
yeah,
somebody's behind the watching it all, like you said, the wizard. Somebody's got monitors and watching everybody somewhere to see what's going on in this planet. To make sure that something like this doesn't happen.
Yeah. So my question is, is the veil pulled back in this episode to the people there, or
I think we find out who it is. I think we find out who the supervisor is, or if it's a just a non-being, if it's going to be a computer or something like that. Because I also think when if there's going to be a guest spot tomorrow night, that if you go back and remember whatever the owl's name, Kim says to KB, if you need anything, give me a call, let me know.
Yeah.
So KB reaches out to her, she reaches out to the Republic or sends something out, Mando catches wind of it, or like I said, Thrawn catches wind of it. And it's like, oh, I need to head over that way and see what's going on. I really think this is going to be a tie-in to the Mando Grogu movie.
Do you think that's kind of the type of way that we would get Jod's backstory? Because I could see if the veil gets pulled back, that they live on basically a fake place that used to be real, but they're just this self-contained thing, and the kids are like, I don't think he's a real Jedi anymore. And he just tells them like, yeah, because they're freaking gone. and like kind of how he's been blowing steam this whole time by like being pissed at him. If that's where we get his backstory, like, you know, yeah, I was there. Here's what's been going on, you bunch of idiots. And,
Right.
you know, I don't know.
I'll be interested to see if they start this episode with where they ended it, or is it going to be a backstory?
Yeah.
I think if there is a cameo, it's going to be a surprise. It's not going to start with it. It'll be halfway through it or towards the end. Someone comes in to help them, or vice the opposite. Take the money. But
Do we know how long the episode is?
So it's supposed to be over 50 minutes.
It's the longest one in a long time.
It's the longest one of this whole series. The kid Wim, forget what his real name is, had an interview, and it would be like me and you interviewing him. We're like, oh, what do you think about that? They were talking about, oh, what's your favorite episode? He's like, oh, 6 and 8. And he's like, 8 was, it's like over, and then it cuts off. Because they got a hold of it, but there was somebody that was watching it live, and again, a guy who loves Star Wars had it on there, and it talks about he says it's 50 minutes,
okay,
or over 50 minutes, with the end credits, obviously, which are like 7 minutes long, which is ridiculous. But
I would love to highlight Jacob's comment about the greedy rebels. That's the kind of stuff I freaking love in Star Wars, because that's a very real thing that could happen. It happens all the time in the real world. Happened basically is the whole reason the Clone Wars exist. He says, would be interesting to see greedy rebels, like a small sect of the Republic that have their own plans for the galaxy of this mid-planet. That's super relatable to the real world. And I love when Star Wars does that.
Yeah, and he also states here, which is true, in the 2 Republic pilots that we see in the episode in the X-Wings are nobodies.
Yeah.
So they could try to come in, and then Jod kills them, the pirates kill them, because they're not characters. It's not, I can't think of that guy's name, but it's not the main X-Wing pilot that we see. And he's gonna, if you're not gonna kill him off, because he's gonna go to Hera. I'm
gonna look up that guy's name.
Yeah, go for it. But that's just it. It's crazy how some of that stuff is going to come to fruition with that.
So. Yeah, and also, so in the have you ever read or like know about the novel Bloodline?
Yes, I've heard of it. I haven't read it.
It's one of the canon ones. Sorry, I'm searching Mandalorian cast. So it's essentially follows Leia, and part of it's like political, and it's also like an adventure thing. But basically, like the New Republic finds out that Leia is the daughter of Darth Vader, and she's been asking Luke, don't include me. That's right. She's been asking Luke, like, don't include me in your story with all that. Like, I hate Darth Vader. I'm sickened that, that's like my life. I'm going to tell people that Padme Amidala was my mom, and
right.
Someone leaks like a hologram of Bail Organa telling her like, you're Darth Vader's, daughter or whatever.
That's him right there.
Carson. I just lost it. Carson something. This goes to his real name. Shoot. Anyway, in that novel is where people stand up in the Senate and go, I'm with the First Order. I'm like Spartacus style. Like, I'm with the First Order. I'm with the First Order. And they like reveal themselves, and all these greedy politicians and stuff like that everyone's been kind of like weird about, and being like, they're not super into the idea of like the New Republic all stand up and say, we're with the First Order and you're going to hear from us soon. And that's like brewing right about now, all those
Right.
people making deals and leaving. So people in the Republic right now many of them are eventually going to be First Order types. And that could be brewing right now.
Carson Teva.
Yep.
Yeah, that's him right there. But he's a main character now, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that if he comes in, he's going to come in with Hera and the rebels, and they're going to sort of save. I think we're going to end on a bad note. I think we're going to end just like this one. Holy shit, what's happening next?
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to happen. I think that we're going to have something like that where it's going to be, they come in and, save the kids or whatever. The kids don't die, but AT-AT gets taken over by Thrawn or whatever the case may be. But I think, somebody like Carson Teva is not going to come in here and end up getting killed. But the other two, like Jacob talked about, the other two Republic pilots, they could get on there and get blown up. Maybe they land and they try to go take over whatever, and Jod takes them out.
Or, like, who does Kim know? She
Right.
knows Nod, so she probably knows some other weirdos.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yo, I just had the craziest thing happen. People are looking for AT-AT and like it's real.
Yeah.
And so really anybody could be coming.
Yeah. Yeah,
I guess they have the wrong coordinates, though, from her. Do you think Jod's actions are going to ruin Wim's dream? You want to put that up there?
Yeah.
Do you think Jod's actions are going to ruin Win's dream of being a Jedi? Like maybe he no longer believes. I think so. I think Jod's going to give him a bad rap, or maybe Wim like has read enough stories that he's just full on believer. But I think like the most crushing blow to Wim that I've been waiting on the whole time is that Jod's going to tell him that they're freaking gone. I think that's like worse than like physically hitting Wim would be hitting him in the soul by telling him, oh yeah, Jedi are all freaking dead, Yeah. And that might be more crushing to him than Jod's behavior. But I don't know. What do you think, Ron?
I think it'll be interesting to see what comes into fruition with that episode if he declares that he's a Jedi or not. I think it's going to be interesting for him to what he's going to tell the parents. Some people were talking about how this scene, or this isn't the actual scene, but the one with the parents there at the end is very similar to when Anakin walks into the Jedi Temple and all the younglings are there, and he ignites a blue lightsaber at that time because he doesn't have his red one yet. So I think that could be an interesting thing. I don't think he's going to ruin Wim's. Maybe there's a possible Jedi that could come. I don't know. Because at this point, who are the Jedi? Ahsoka, who's gone, and Luke's trying to get this, Jedi Academy up and running. So I don't know who else could come as a Jedi, but I don't think that Jod's. I don't think so.
I don't think anyone that big is going to show up in this show. I don't think this is going to happen, but the only thing that like actually could make sense is that there's like instances in books and comics and stuff that like in the old days or even up to the end of the Clone Wars, there's like jobs for Jedi, actually kind of like is it the Living Force novel we just read? Like some Jedi get stationed places to just be there forever and to like take someone on and just be there and just hang out. And the only way that I could see a Jedi showing up and showing Wim what it's really like is if there's one already there and just nobody has bothered. And like that person would also not have any contact with what's going on. Be pretty brutal for them to find out what's really going on. And they're probably several generations removed unless it's a really old non-human, person. I don't think that's going to happen, but I think Jod will not have a redemption arc, but like Wim's character redemption or like forming will be, I think he'll stick to the idea of the Jedi, but will be really freaking bummed about what Jod's been doing. Because
we don't, we don't know if he's a Jedi yet.
Yeah, I mean, he looks to what Wim knows, he looks like one,
Correct.
know, and I think Wim will stick by like this dude's not a Jedi more than anything, instead of being like, oh my god, this is what they are. There it is.
Yeah, I think that's
Slayer.
One. It'll be. I think it'll be definitely be interesting to see what happens when we see it tomorrow. I don't know. I have all these different predictions, but I also don't know if any of them are going to come true. Again, I thought Jod was a bad guy and he was going to end up being a bad guy because you have 4 good guys technically with these kids.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, for him to turn like he did, I was like, okay, now we're starting to see the real one. I do think that KB will talk to Kim,
mm-hmm.
and Kim will let somebody know to come and help those kids at Atten, because I do think that we're still going to have more of the pirates involved. I think.
Yeah, he still doesn't have he hasn't won yet. Like he needs everybody there. They're not letting him talk to his ship. He needs to be able to get out of there. He just like spilt over a whole pile of money and looks like a crazy person. So like he's not really out of the woods yet either. I don't know if he has the cards in the hand to be able to cut anybody down right now. And I certainly don't think they're just going to let the ship in.
I don't think they're going to let the ship in for sure. I think they're, and they can't, because unless they let it, like you said, unless they let it in, I don't think it's going to come into because it's going to die if they try to get in there. They're going to, they're not going to make it.
Yeah. Great story point for them to have the Onyx Cinder be like from Atten, or like one of those ships that it accepts. Because I was worried, I was like, is this going to be weird that like, of course the kids make it in unscathed,
right?
But then it's like a totally good reason, and also a brilliant like SM33 said, like that was the brilliant part of the original pilot's plan, is that he was using one of their own ships,
right, to get in and out.
Yeah.
I think they've done a really good job with this, and I think as many people that didn't like the Acolyte, I think they're bringing this back. Obviously, you and I did like that, but I think it's interesting that they did a great job with this, and I think it's going to bring a lot of people in. And like you said, even like with Mandoline, if she doesn't really know too much about it, but she's intrigued by it. She can't wait till next week to see the next one, and so on. That's pretty cool.
She's more frustrated than I am when there's a short episode. Like she gets actually kind of mad. Like, is that it?
Yeah.
But so this is a random thing about the show. Am I remembering correctly that the corpse that they find in the ship at the beginning has like a knife through it, and Jod takes the knife out of it?
Correct.
And is that supposed to be the captain?
I think so, yeah.
So who killed him?
Right, we don't know. that could be a good question. And that's my thing. I think this could be an amazing episode. We're going to get a bunch of questions answered, but we're also going to have a big cliffhanger at the end to tie into the Mando, Grogu, Thrawn, Ahsoka universe. Even if Teva comes with Omega, we could see something like that. That would be sort of cool.
Well, sorry to go back to it, but like, if the Onyx Cinder could always go in there and be okay with its signature or whatever, then what they found was not a crash. And if that knife was through the entire body of that captain, then what they found was not a dead crashed captain. And so I'm wondering if there's any funny business on AT-AT with this whole scheme to keep up the Wizard of Oz act. And the ship is literally buried,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just brainstorming.
Hey, there's a couple other people jumped on here. Please, we're going to wrap it up. But if you guys have any predictions for episode 8, Skeleton Crew, let us know. Let us know what you're thinking of it. Are you liking it? Are you loving it? Favorite characters, anything like that. We got one more day tomorrow. Tomorrow night is episode 8. I think it's going to be a big cliffhanger. I think they're going to do a good job. It's supposed to be a little bit over 50 minutes long. So, that'll be fantastic. And once that's done, we'll go back and watch. I'm going to watch the whole thing all over again, probably, in a night or all day long. Maybe we'll get some more snow.
Is it tomorrow or is it midnight tonight
that it comes out?
Yeah.
No, I would say it's probably going to be the same, that 8 o'clock time Central for us, 9 o'clock, Eastern, and then 6 Pacific. So I think that's going to be what we're going to end up. If it was midnight tonight, that'd be amazing. I mean, I don't stay up till midnight very often, but I would definitely be staying.
This you would. For this you would.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got a couple more people on here. Please hit up the chat. Let us know what's going on or what you're thinking. Love to hear your thoughts. We're about a little more than 52 minutes into this. I know you got some stuff going on this evening, so we'll go ahead and wrap this up. Appreciate you jumping on, and we'll see what happens. We'll definitely be on for a recap and see what's with all of our mouths drop tomorrow at the end.
We'll want to recap the series, obviously, but by the way it sounds, we'll want to recap this last episode.
Oh yeah.
And then Jacob can hold us to our predictions and our thoughts and see how wrong we were. But
yeah. All right. Well, may the force be with everybody out there. Thank you guys so much. If you haven't already, smash a like on the YouTube channel there. Subscribe to us if you haven't already. We'll be back. We have a couple cool interviews coming up in the next couple months, especially with Skeleton Crew being the last thing that's out right now. So we'll definitely be getting some more guests on here and talking to them about their Star Wars journey. Again, if you haven't checked out Mike, a guy who loves Star Wars, he's got a great podcast. He goes live a couple times a week, a bunch of shorts. So check him out. We're hoping to have him on here sometime soon, and that's about it. Nick,
can I ask a favor of our listeners, especially those who go to conventions or are in the world or whatever? One, give us some guests you'd want to see. 2, some topics, all in the comments, some topics you want us to talk about. And 3, they're making merch like this for the Revenge of the Sith this year because it's the 20th anniversary. If anyone knows where I can find that, smash the link in the comments, please. And that's all I got.
For sure. Yeah. No, that's awesome. Yeah, for sure. If there's anybody out there, again, realistic guests, we're trying to get, we're probably not going to get Harrison Ford or George on here anytime soon. But
if you watch the show, like what kind of guests we talk to and how that's actually can be a lot more interesting because you can see any interview with like Harrison Ford. But, I feel like people kind of know like where we're looking for people who are really in it,
Yeah.
or people that you like who talk about Star Wars, like Derek.
We got to get Matt on here again too. Yeah, Derek's definitely, he was going to come on today. He had some stuff going on. We'll definitely get Derek back on here again. It's great to have him on here. Check out his podcast, Living with the Land Speeder. And so that is about it. So until next time, thanks for joining us on Star Wars Jedi Chat, and may the Force be with you. We'll see you on the next one.